Well, hello and welcome to another episode of It's Steven Time. I'm your host, Steven Alexander. In today's episode, I have entrepreneur, national spokeswoman, and coordinator, Ms. Tanya Davis, here to discuss her second annual Women Who Rock event hosted in Nashville. Stay tuned while you're watching IST.
There's a Steven Show, the Steven Show, the Steven Show, yeah.
We see more and more women nowadays changing the game. Many women are setting an example by making change within their communities. Here today to discuss her second annual event is Ms. Tanya Davis. So how are you, Ms. Tanya?
I am absolutely wonderful.
Good to see you again.
And
good to see you again.
Excited to do this with you.
Yes, I know. We haven't really got a chance to sit down and talk. I saw you at your event last year, and we haven't just got a chance to talk.
You were definitely a supporter.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I want to just kind of ask you, can you share with me like your story? Can you tell us like where were you brought up and just give us your story?
Okay. Well, it's a long one. No, I'm just kidding.
That's okay.
I grew up in Detroit. The only child raised by my grandparents. My mom was young, and my dad was young when they had me. Actually, she was 15. So when they talk about, these girls getting pregnant today, it's because television and what they see. No, that's not true. They kind of took them down south and hit them and came back and said that was a sister or brother, finding out that was your mother,
Wow.
And so, but life was good. Being spoiled a little bit. My grandfather, oh my God, he spoiled the mess out of me. I actually loved my grandfather more than my mom at the time.
Wow.
Because that's who I knew. And he was so unconditional with the things, that concerned me. Like if I needed a ride, he was always there. So you can depend on him. He was unconditional, no matter what you did or whatever. He would scold you, of course. But at the end of the day, you knew that granddaddy loved his grandchild. Mm-hmm. I had two cousins. My mom had one brother, so he had two and she had one. So very small and intimate, okay? I was a speed skater. I skated all over the world. I placed second, the first African-American team to place second in nationals.
Wow.
So that made history.
Wow.
And all I knew was to skate. Like when people were chasing boys, I was going skating.
So you was chasing something else.
I love to skate. I mean, I had a locker with different changes of clothing and the whole 9 yards. And my first boyfriend was a skater, so we meet at the skating rink and stuff like that. But life was good. I did fairly well in class, in school, of course. I started off with some C's and D's in certain areas. And then I became an AB student, the whole 9 yards. And then my very first boyfriend, he was a year before me, so he actually encouraged me at the time, not verbally, but seeing him go off to college, I wanted to get there quicker.
Right.
And so instead of graduating in 1977, I graduated in 1976. I went to night school and summer school.
Yeah.
And so, again, life was good. Most popular, best dressed, the whole 9 yards. Actually, I went to school with Magic Johnson's wife, Cookie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we graduated in 76 from Cody High.
Wow.
And she went on to just do some amazing things, of course, and then wound up with a great husband.
Yeah.
But so after that, life was good, and I met a young lady. She became my best friend. Actually, her mom was a madam. Her grandmother was a madam. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of naive of all the things that were going on and didn't really see it at the time, until you got a little older. You can look back and say, oh, okay, that's why those people were coming over and stuff like that. Then I was introduced to cocaine. And
through the madam, right?
No, not through the madam.
Okay.
No, not through the madam. But eventually, one of my best girlfriends, they graduated from high school, she went out to LA. Mm-hmm. And she was writing all these beautiful letters about staying on Venice Beach, having a Rolls Royce, married to a doctor. And I'm like, shoot, I got to get out there and see what's going on. And so my first attempt in going out there, first time on a plane, the whole 9 yards, seeing that Hollywood sign, I always said before I left, I wasn't coming back because I was going to be a star. We didn't have many African American on TV. I was looking at All My Children with Jesse. That was the love couple on the show at the time, Jesse and Angie. And so we admired them, and we was like, if they can be on TV, I can one day too. And so getting out there, the first question was popped to me was that, have I ever freebased before? Well, growing up in the hood, I didn't want people to know that I was that naive. So I was like, sure, yes, you know, never had a clue. Now, mind you, when you're in the hood, you see things. So I knew if somebody snorted cocaine, they took either a spoon with a little bottle, or they took a straw, made a line, or a card, playing card on the corner. And so when I got there, we were at a celebrity house, Debbie Fox, Red Fox's daughter.
Yeah.
And all these celebrities was there. You're talking about Natalie Cole, Richard Pryor, and those were the ones that were, you know, at the time very popular in comedy and the whole 9 yards. And so I was excited. I love to play chess. I love to play backgammon. And they had this lifestyle human floor with statuettes that you had to pick up and move to make your moves. So I was really interested in that. And you had to sign a paper to be next or whatever. But during that time of waiting, I was called into this room, and all this cocaine is everywhere. But I didn't know anything about freebase. So I'm saying, okay, it looks like powder. If they say, do you want some, I can put it on a card and sniff it. And when I got ready to do that, everybody was like, no, because it wasn't regular cocaine, it was freebase. And freebase was introduced before crack. So at that time, make a long story short, I tried it, never felt anything. The only thing I could feel when I got home was that I couldn't sleep. And so her husband was a pharmacist, doctor, and then it was in a prescription bottle. So they brought me a volume where I can relax. And then I couldn't get up the next day because I'm really tired. So then they introduced me to Quaaludes, which is an upper.
Yeah.
And so we took that to get me up. And then we went shopping on Rodale Drive, and everything was fine. So that night we were going out to paint the town. I wanted to show them all my Detroit moves, the whole 9 yards, but not knowing that that's how they party. And even today, I think your generation, they have some things that they take when they're partying or whatever. So it was equivalent to that in our era.
I want to ask you, like, through that, how many years were you on cocaine?
Well, from that point, that was kind of like that social thing. Off and on.
Off and on.
Yeah, for maybe a couple of years, but then it became an addiction.
Wow.
And I was addicted to it for 9 years.
Okay. Can you speak briefly about your addiction?
Yeah, you never know. I would even go back and say when I tried it, it's kind of like that seed being sown. You know, it's there, but you don't know it's there. And then of course it arises. And then if one day it just all of a sudden says, hey, I want more.
Right.
You know, so I was in a setting, it wasn't as glamorous as Hollywood was, but back in Detroit in a rural area, I was trying it and I got addicted. I wanted more. That day, my jewelry came off. Everything I had, I pawned my car, and even had some sex trading situations.
Wow.
And when I realized the predicament that I was in, I wanted to go home, but I don't know how to go home. I've been gone for about 4 days. That has never happened. I know my grandparents are worried. They probably called my mom and dad and the whole 9 yards. So they're trying to figure out, am I dead? What's going on? The only thing that I could think of, I told the guy, I said, hit me. And he said, hit me? I said, yeah, hit me in my eye. So I can go to the police station and make up this big, elaborate lie, okay? And so I got there and, you know, I was kidnapped. They beat me up, blah, blah, blah. They took my car, they took my jewelry. And when my grandfather came down there to get me, it was a look in his eyes that said, she's lying. And of course, with me being high, I don't know how I'm looking.
Right.
I'm
yeah.
okay.
You think you got
I
it
think
all
I'm
under
fine.
control?
I got it all
yeah.
together, right? And so when we went home, it saddened me to know that I disappointed my grandfather. I could not get that look because it was always a smile. It was always amazed. He was always proud of me. And here I am, have disappointed the man that I really loved in my life. And how did I do that? And how do I make this thing up? And I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
And so every time I thought about it, I'd run back.
Yeah. Well, look, they're telling us we have to go to commercial.
Okay.
But we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we return, we'll have more of Miss Tanya Davis. Stay tuned. You're watching IST.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self. And I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Stephen Alexander. I am here in the studio with Miss Tanya Davis. Before we get into her event, Women Who Rock, we're going to continue the conversation we had and we'll segue into it. I just kind of want to ask you, through the things that you have been through all your challenges, what advice would you give someone who are in your shoes, and how can they overcome that? Because you talked about, drug addiction, cocaine, and then like you had morals, but your morals were gone because you allowed the addiction to get to you, and then losing that relationship with your grandfather. So what advice would you give to someone who has loved ones who, they're in a lost spot.
Spot too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I would say what my mom said in my book, and it's her testimony, is that just love your children, no matter what. The thing about it is we will go astray, but with some of the foundation they introduced to me, like God, okay? I went away, I came back, and you'll find him in those streets. You'll get sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you'll call on him, and sometimes you'll think he's not there because why would I even be here? Why would you leave me? Well, he didn't really leave you, So I would say to the parents, spouses, anybody like that, just love your children. It's nothing you can do, okay, until that person is really sick and tired of being sick and tired.
That's right.
Okay, and you'll be wasting your time. People will come back and do it for their daughter or do it for their spouse, and it won't work. They'll still end up going back out until they're ready for themselves. Then it's over.
Yeah.
Then you can see the freedom. You can go back, you can make amends, and things will become right.
And see, I like that, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, because like so many times parents and grandparents or loved ones try to reach out and try to make change, but like you said, that own individual person has to be ready. You can't force a person.
Can't force them, yeah.
I kind of want to talk about now the Women Who Rock event. It's not only in Nashville, but you've had it in Detroit, Atlanta, all these different places, right?
We did not make it. It would have been a tour this year.
Okay.
And here's the kicker. The first one. You were there.
Yeah, I was there.
You were
yes.
there, and it was amazing. You wouldn't have thought it was an inaugural. You would not have thought that, Nashville really, really came out and supported. All the communities came out and supported it. And so even I thought like, wow, we've been doing this for years, because that's how well it was put together. And so we went out searching for sponsorship, And we weren't even a year old. We're not even a year old until March 31st.
That's right.
And so,
which is your birthday.
Which is my birthday, how it all got started. But you know, we jumped in the ocean and we had to swim back and say, okay, we can't get the money yet, you know. And so we're actually doing it again, our second annual that's coming up March 22nd. Same place, same time, actually 30 minutes earlier because people enjoyed the red carpet.
Yes.
And now we have some surprises going on in the red carpet area. So we're excited about that, but man, we just thought we could go. Detroit was ready. Now these are cities that reached out to us. And saying, hey, can you bring it here? Can you bring it there? So it was Detroit, Atlanta, and Dallas. Wow. And then we were actually gonna do it here.
I wanna ask you just like, I guess I know that the things that you've been through have inspired you to have this event, but what about it made you so motivated to get out here and just make a change for so many women and so many people?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, again, I'm a national spokesperson, and I've been giving back basically my whole career of being clean. Actually, I celebrate 30 years clean this year.
All right.
Yes,
All
I know.
right.
I'm so excited about it. But in those 30 years, I actually started doing hair with a toenail clipper while I was incarcerated in prison.
Wow.
And so when I got out, the guards encouraged me to go to beauty school, and I went. I heeded to the call, and I've been good at what I do for those 30 years. So to make people feel beautiful, that was something that inspired me because I know how it feels not to look beautiful. I know how to build self-esteem from just doing your hair. I always say the key to depression is hair and nails. Because you can have a friend that's going through, just grab her hand and say, come on, I'm gonna get your nails done, get your feet done. Once she get those nails done, she's looking at them like this, and that begins to look good, and then she's at the beauty salon, and when you turn that person around in the mirror, and you get that smile, you know that they can do all things. So they're not ready to go back and sit on the porch and be depressed. They're ready like, okay, let me get on the phone and try to find me a job. You know, you feel better. So we always say that in our industry, the key to depression is hair and nails. And it really, really, really does a lot. And so I've been making women beautiful. My heart goes out to seeing anybody on the streets that walk. I can tell. I know when they're getting high. I know when they're prostituting. I know all that because I've been through it, and I know the look. I know, you know, where they're sitting, when they're sitting on the ground, being homeless. I lived in alleys, abandoned buildings before. So I know, you know, for self. I've experienced it myself. It's not somebody tell me. I know. So my heart goes out to it. Seeing women on the streets, I'm gonna give them money. I'm gonna give them food if I think they're hungry. Men, I kind of say, you know what?
You don't know.
You got your legs and your arms. Go get a job. You know, but I know women it's harder because they have children that they're carrying out there. They're sex trading. So instead of trying to do that, sometimes we get tired of even doing that. So now you want to hold the sign and say, hey, can I have a few dollars? Because she really can't go to work because she can't afford daycare.
Yeah.
So, you know, that man is out there kind of by himself.
I want to ask you, okay, so through all of that, you know, what have you learned about yourself? Because like you were working with ladies and you see these things you said, and you help the ladies, and through your event, you're helping other women as well.
Amen.
What is something that you've learned about yourself through the things you've been through the people you've helped? And it's not about you, but it's about growth. And you see that God's been on your side through all of this.
Yeah.
What have you learned about yourself?
Well, the one thing I've learned is that I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. The other thing is that my heart is for the people. I love people. You know, I didn't grow up in a house that was pro-black and all those sorts of things. You know, of course, I love my race.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I just see people. I don't see religion. I don't see sexual preference. I don't see none of that, you know. I just see the man or woman standing in front of me for who they are. And of course, I can't judge anybody because that's like when they judged me, I didn't like the feeling. You know what I'm saying? So I never want to do that. And so that's why Women Who Rock Nashville is about welcoming women from all walks of life. I don't care what you did. I don't care where you've been. I don't care who you like. I don't even care what religion you are. This is one day where all the women, I tell people I'm that kumbaya.
Yeah.
Like, can we all get along?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. Well, we have to go to another commercial break. But when we return, we'll have Miss Tanya Davis, and we'll be here with one more guest as well to talk about Women Who Rock. So stay tuned. You're watching IST.
You can help support Austin Peay students who don't have enough to eat by donating to the Save Our Students Food Pantry. The Save Our Students Food Pantry is looking for soup, pasta, canned meat, canned beans, peanut butter, and fruit. You can drop off your donations at the food pantry on Home Avenue. It's open Tuesdays through Friday, 8:30 until 4. For more information, call 221-1620, a campus reminder from Austin Peay.
I'm from Clarksville, Tennessee. Fort Knox, Kentucky. Jackson, Tennessee.
Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Little Rock, Arkansas.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Gaffney, South Carolina. Seattle, Washington.
Jeremy, Haiti.
I'm from Três Pontas, Brazil.
Chicago, Illinois.
Hawaii.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Braselton, Georgia.
From Modesto, California. I want to be a neonatal nurse.
Athletic trainer and accountant.
Playing the NFL.
Interior designer. Physical therapist.
Law enforcement officer.
Ultrasound technician.
Social worker.
Physician.
Politician.
Psychologist.
CPA.
A social worker.
Nurse practitioner.
Physical therapist.
Restaurant owner.
A politician. Started my own business. Veterinary.
Elementary school teacher.
The NBA player.
Cardiovascular surgeon.
Anesthesiologist.
Businesswoman in Nashville.
Social worker in Miami, Florida.
Politician in Washington, D.C.
Colorado.
Orlando, Florida.
Houston, Texas.
Chattanooga.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Seattle, Washington.
Nashville, Tennessee. San Diego, California.
Nashville, Tennessee.
New York City, New York.
San Diego, California.
Atlanta, Georgia. Nashville.
Los Angeles, California.
New York, New York.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Orlando, Florida.
Los Angeles, California.
Baltimore, Maryland. Clarksville, Tennessee.
Carolina Beach, Carolina. Philadelphia.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Clarksville, Tennessee.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Stephen Alexander. Now let's talk about the Women Who Rock event, Nashville, that's hosted in Nashville. And now I'm joined with Miss Tanya Davis, and I have Miss Patricia Moore Hammond. So we're going to talk about the event, and we're just going to talk about when does it occur? What is the date and everything like that?
Sunday, March 22nd. Red carpet is 4:30, dinner at 6, and then it's really going down at 7 o'clock.
Okay, all right. I'm excited for it.
Yes.
So I'm going to be there. So Miss Patricia, what is your contribution to the event?
Well, first I have to say that I am a proud 1990 alumnus of Austin Peay State University, where I graduated with a bachelor's degree in communications and journalism.
Wow.
Kudos to what I'm seeing, the advances that I'm seeing on campus in this arena right now. What I get the opportunity to do is showcase what Austin Peay taught me. I am the key writer for the inaugural edition of the Women Who Rock Nashville magazine.
Wow. So I want to ask you ladies, you both are just working, y'all are making change. I just want to ask, what can we expect for the second annual event?
Well,
I know, without giving too much away.
Right. So a new, amazing, of course, nominees. And that's what we love about it. We get to understand and find out what women are doing. So last year it was about 101. This year about the same. So they're new. But you're ready to come to an event not dressed to the 9s, but dressed to the 10s. And just, I mean, flow. We have award-winning hosts, Vicki Yates.
Yes,
She just got an Emmy.
Yes, yes.
Just got an Emmy.
Congratulations
So that took
to
us
her.
to a whole nother level,
Yeah.
right? And so many more amazing people that are presenting and the whole 9 yards. But at the end of the day, we're giving them a show. We're giving them, actually, our product is modeled after the Golden Globes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So last year we didn't have an opening act. This year we're opening up big. We're ending big.
I love this.
And one
yeah.
thing I will say, we have Aretha Franklin tribute. Wow. Oh my God. They're finna sing us down.
Wow, I'm excited to see this, and I just want to know for you, how does it feel just to be in the space now, just to, I don't know, to sit back and just see all this beautiful magic happen, because you are an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So just, I can't imagine going through so much in life and now being in this spot now. And do you mind, I like asking people their age, do you mind sharing? Or
Well,
are you
I'll
not
be 61.
Okay, that's young.
next
So,
week.
okay,
I mean,
okay.
in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited. You know, last year the reason why this happened was because of my 60th birthday, and I just wanted to give back. I wanted to do something that was meaningful and start to build that legacy. You know, people remember you by. Now I don't want them to remember me by a crackhead. You understand? Or a recovering addict. I don't want them to be remembered just for that.
Right.
You know, so it was basically, you know, what can I do now, you know, that will make an impact in the city and then around the world, because eventually that's where this product will be going.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited about it, but I didn't know, I wasn't ready for it. I was ready for this party. I was ready, you know, I put out a post on social media. I want to honor doctors, lawyers, preachers, teachers, domestic violence, recovery, cancer survivors, the whole 9 yards, and people begin to put names in there in the whole 9 yards. So I was like, okay, we need a nomination day.
Yeah.
And they nominated, and man, we find out these stories, we find out what women are doing all across the globe. You know, what I love about also our product is hidden figures to high profilers. If you break it down in layman terms, you're talking about from the hood to the boardroom. And we mesh all of that together, man, and it's a beautiful situation. You know that.
Yes,
You know,
it was beautiful.
What I like about the high profilers, they get a chance to let their hair down,
Yeah.
their tie down, and it's script. And this year we got a teleprompter.
I'm definitely
We already
I'm
have
excited.
the voiceovers
I'm excited.
and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it. We're definitely mimicking the Golden Globes this year, and I can't post-show,
Yeah.
post-interviews. You know, our carpet is not just a step and repeat.
Right. It's
You
the whole
walk.
whole
You
10
walk.
yards.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to ask you, because there's saying we have just a few more minutes. I want to ask you, on your website, you have a scripture. Talks about Acts chapter 20, verse 35, giving back. So through that, what do you want people to understand about giving back? Why is that important?
Okay. Of course, our product is to give back to 501c3s that we partner with. Last year it was domestic violence. This year it's Women with Open Arms and Futura. At first, you know, we normally went with one, and I asked my daughter to read both of these because both stories were amazing. You had to send in about your organization. I couldn't make the decision real quick. So she said, well, go with both, Mom, it's your product. And so that's why we have two. Futura is an educational piece that partners with most universities, and they make sure you have a diploma in one hand and a business plan in the other.
Okay, I like that. I like that. I want to first say thank you both for your time. I know, like, 30 minutes is such a short time. I had more, but I just thank you for your time. You both were just awesome. And also, too, I want to just say, before we go, can you mention about the event as well, the time, the place, the location, the date again?
Well, it's at the Omni Hotel. It's a black tie event, March 22nd. It's going down, red carpet is at 4:30, so get there downtown early. You do not want to miss it. And then you're there for hours, but I guarantee you that it won't feel like it. You'll still be trying to hang around after the show.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you guys for your time today. See you guys with more news and entertainment next week. And always remember to, let's go Peay.
There's a Steven Show, the Steven Show, the Steven Show, yeah.